Last week we made a panic bar chain link gate. This week we're doing another one, except we're making it for a wood gate. That presents its own set of challenges. Let's go ahead and jump into this. We are starting by chopping up some square tube. That's typically what we do for our wood gates. We like to use steel frame for the wood gates. We don't like to do the old school 2x4s. That may have worked for Grandma and Grandpa's house, but this is the 21st century. We like to use steel, and that just holds up better. It's a better quality product, and that's what we're doing here, is starting by getting our pieces ready. We cut them to length, and here we're just drilling out holes. We like to use hardware called Shark hardware, and this is a great product that we've been using now for many years. It is all steel construction, and it works incredibly well. Just like any gate, we're going to start by squaring the gate up. And to do that, I'm just kind of placing them where they need to be and tacking the pieces together. Once they're all tacked up, I am doing what I normally do, which is measuring corner to corner and just making sure that the gate is square. Now, not all gates need to be square. Some are put on the side of a slope or a grade, but this particular one is going to be on flat ground. So once we get it square, we go ahead and throw in our middle piece, and then we get to work just welding the rest of the frame. Welding up this gate frame is really just like any other gate. You just take your time and make sure the welds are good. And once we get the first side welded up, I go ahead and flip it over and finish the other side. This really doesn't take too long, to be quite honest. It's just pretty quick and easy to get this thing knocked out. Once we do get this done, we're going to go ahead and brush and paint the welds, and that's just going to make it last and keep it from rusting in the future. Now, a lot of these are going to be covered up with wood and pickets when it's all said and done, but we like to do it just to do it. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and measure the gate just to make sure the width is correct, and we're going to lay out 2x4s and mark them out. Getting the right width on the 2x4s and the gate is important. I like to use a circular saw blade to just trim these 2x4 pieces off to get them to the right length. And once they're cut, we go ahead and grab the drills and drill in a hole for the carriage bolts. So we're going to go ahead and grab some carriage bolts and head over to the table to knock them in. We don't have a whole lot of carriage bolts. We only have 2 holding on each 2x4, but once we have them in, that's pretty much the only wood that's going to be going on this gate prior to getting it out the door of the shop. It's really important when you're putting the carriage bolts in to make sure that they're in there snug. You want to sink the heads in through the wood, and that way they're not poking out and creating problems when you go to face them with pickets. Once we have the 2x4s on, we're going to go ahead and throw it on this frame that I threw together. And this is where the build gets more interesting. We're going to account the space for the pickets and make sure that the gate is actually sitting the correct height inside the frame. And then we're going to go ahead and get our Shark hardware and attach the frame to the gate. This is a pretty simple process, and doing it here in the shop makes it easy. Having a table to do it on. Once we get the hardware where we want them, we're going to go ahead and cut the back side of these bolts off. Now, all of our Shark hardware comes with a little bit longer bolt, and the reason is because some people like to use different size square tube, maybe 1 3/4 or 2 inch. But when we use our 1.5 inch, it means that the bolt provided is a little bit long, and that will sometimes hinder the hinge from closing all the way. So we just get those cut flush, that way the hinge will function properly. Once they're cut, we're going to make sure that the gate is in line with the frame and our height is still good. And then we're going to go ahead and put on the U-bolt, put on the nuts, and go ahead and snug them down. Once I get them hand tight and with a wrench, I go ahead and use the impact to make sure they're on there securely. All right, so now that we have the gate made, the frame for the gate made, and the gate put onto the frame with the Shark hinges, we're now ready to talk about the panic bar that we're going to be installing on this. This particular panic bar has an alarm with it, so that when someone exits with this panic device, it also creates a loud sound alerting others around that there may be a fire or something. Now, you guys have seen us build some of these before on the channel where we do them with chain link, and when that's the case, we have to put a sheet of metal here so that people can't reach through and access this bar. Because this is a wood gate, we're going to have pickets on the other side, so that's not necessary. But we will have to mount this to the gate as is, and I'm planning on putting that on the middle horizontal piece. But as you can see, we have this little nut where the bolt comes through in our way, so we're going to get rid of this so that we can then go ahead and install this thing. Once we get this put on, we'll be able to see where our latching device is going to go to be able to catch this striker. Now, there's multiple ways to do what we're doing here. At the time that we decided to do this, this is just kind of how my brain was thinking at the moment. I decided to go ahead and take off the nut and make a larger hole that we could fit a socket down into, and then we could sneak the nut all the way down to the inside of the square tube, and then we'll just cut off the extra bolt sticking out. This was kind of the easiest option. We could have added some more support to attach the panic bar to, but I just decided to do it this way this time. That's one thing that's unique about doing these style gates, is that it's kind of a one-off. They're custom and each one is going to be a little bit different. Once we figure that part out, we're ready to stand this dude up and go ahead and start plotting out what we're going to do with the panic bar and the striker catch. Go ahead and make sure that our gap is good where we're going to be latching at. I allowed about an inch or so for room to spare. That way we have enough room to be able to make this thing function correctly. So we've got the screws for the butt plate. We're going to go ahead and put that on. Then we're just going to finish drilling the rest of the holes for the head. Then we're going to be adding the head cover back on the panic bar, and it's pretty much done. Now we're ready to start thinking about the catch for the panic bar. And it's sitting as is currently at the moment. We really just have made a gate that opens and closes. It doesn't catch anything just yet. So we decide to use a scrap piece of steel and weld it on the inside of the post for the panic bar striker to catch. Once we get it welded up, we get it cleaned up, brushed, and painted. Now this gate is going to be an exit only, so we go ahead and decide to weld on an extra piece that's just going to help support the gate in the closed position and keep it from opening in. So once we get that on there and cleaned up, that's the end of the build. It turned out really nice, and this is going to be a gate that's going to be installed out in the field where they're going to be adding the pickets out in the field. Once they do that, I'm sure the customer will be happy with a long-lasting panic bar exit-only gate. There you have it. Really appreciate you guys watching, and catch you in the next video.